The views and opinions expressed by the host and our guests does not state or reflect Tuda personally or the Life is Good with Tuda show. Hello. Welcome back. You know, I told you I have so many family members, so I am so blessed today to have on Life is Good two women, two black queens that I admire most, and that would be my mom and my baby sister. Life is Good with Tuda. We're here today to share with them. It's some interesting things I want to talk about with both of them. So with my baby sister, everybody know her. That's one of those family dynamics. You got to love her. I am so thankful she blessed us with her presence. Because she was ignoring me at first, I think. Were you ignoring me, sister?
No.
You don't. You won't ignore me?
No, I wasn't ignoring you.
Okay. So what's interesting about both of them, I call them my SHEROES. And so my baby sister's like, what we got to talk about? I don't have nothing to talk about. So I think it's interesting because my baby sister, I come from a family of 8, and my baby sister is actually, we named her. She's named after my mom's nickname. So tell us your name.
My name is RuShawnda Laine Watkins.
So, Mama, introduce yourself.
Brown sugar.
So this is my mom. Family dynamics, okay? It's my mom. So introduce yourself with your government name, Elaine.
My name is Elaine Watkins.
Okay, and so what's your nickname?
Rishi.
So Rishi is how we came about with RuShawnda Laine. Her name is spelled from my mom's name, and so it's R-U capital S-H-I. I mean S-H-A-W-N-D-A. What's interesting, we just hired a young lady. Her name is RuShawnda. And I was like, that's my sister's name. You just spell it a little different. Has the same initials and everything. So what number are you in the order? What's your initials with the number? Because that's that thing.
RLW8.
So when you see it, I was seeing letters and cards and put RLW3. It's automatic. You know who that is. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we just refer to each other 3, 7, 8. So she's RLW8. Our sister was here earlier. She shared how when the first time she met us, or met you,
Charmaine.
Yes. She shared a story that the first time she met you was you in RLW1 at the fair.
Right, yep.
Yeah. And what did you say to her? Or what did you say?
What did she say? She said that I said, "Oh, you out here with another female."
Yeah. So she was trying to figure out what is going on. And our brother was woman. And our brother was like, she's just kidding. And she said, I had the bookends of the sisters. I had the RLW1 or RLW8. So this sister here, they both went to the same alma mater. What's your high school alma mater?
McLean.
So this is baby sister. See, you had family dynamic. And you don't know what you'll get from her depending on what family. Were you at the family casino night that night?
No, I wasn't.
She didn't come. So she's one of the ones, she gets a pass because if she doesn't come, nobody says anything. Certain siblings don't come and it's all hell's going to break out. But if baby sister don't come, everybody's like, oh, that's RuShawnda. That's just RuShawnda. So she did not come to casino night that night, right?
No,
you gotta keep the mic in your face. I'm gonna stay on her. So, but she's RLW8, and this thing I admire about her and my mom. My mom raised 8 kids a long time ago. And her methods of how she raised us along with our dad. My mom was the one we feared most. Only time we would fear our dad is when he lose his temper and he whoop everybody and don't ask questions. But my mom was pretty consistent with the discipline. Mm-hmm. So she put the fear of God in you all the time. She could look at you. Whereas that was, and we don't know if mama is faking it or not, but she say she didn't do a lot of stuff that she did. And we'd be like, Mama, you did. And she was like, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. So the good thing is it's 8 of us. So tell us what it was like raising 6 girls, 2 boys, big personalities, way over a long time ago. In one house at one point, and then we had Ork Lamont too. So at one point we had 4 bedrooms and 1 main bathroom, right? So tell us what that's like.
Well, I enjoyed my children. They taught me and I taught them. I got married at 16. My husband was 19. To have that many children, I just did what my mom and dad did to me. Put the fear of God in them, and love them. I love to cook, and you had to cook. You had to clean to cook, and I tried to instill those things in them as far as what was instilled into me. I love babies, but they turned out to be children. But I still love my children. They're more like my children / sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
And back then, we didn't have a whole lot, but we had the love of each other. We had food. We had clothes. Back then, they didn't have the things like telephones and iPods. They went outside to play a lot, what children should do. They were their own friends to play with. So I love my children dearly, and other children also that would come over to stay with the Watkins because I was just like their mom too. I didn't take no foolishness, but I loved them dearly and instilled the love of Christ in them. And if no one else, they did a lot of walking back then. They didn't have cars. They rode bikes, but then they would walk to church. They would walk to school.
We
They
went
were
to
the
a neighborhood school. So.
neighborhood schools. And also, if no one else was at church for the youth ushers or youth choir, guess what? My children would be the choir and the ushers.
Because there's enough of us to make an usher.
Right. So I might not have did everything right, but the grace of God blessed me. I wanted 10. We stopped at 8. And
I 10. Woo. That's a lot.
Praise God for patience and love. And I hope I didn't do everything right, but that I did, take it and add to it. And just keep Jesus the Lord of your life, and you're good.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. So one thing my mom we would go to our grandmother's church, and RuShawnda wasn't born yet, but it was the oldest ones. My mom would put us up there to sing. There's Maple's grandkids. She would make us go sing, impromptu. And so she had like 2 or 3 songs we would practice just in case anybody ever want us to sing. And what was it? I can't remember. Jesus loves me, this I know. Jesus loves me, this I know. Yeah, so we practiced that. And so I know on one occasion, one of us froze in the middle of the song. I don't remember who it was. I'm sure somebody would tell us, but my mom was sitting out there and she just coaching the song, and you know the older people, that's all right. And so and then the other one's This Is a Little Light of Mine that we would sing. So my mom, it would be me. So I'm the third to RLW3. So it would be China Doll Robin, me, Ricky, Floyd. Because Stinky wasn't born yet either, probably. Floyd and Lady, maybe? Or Floyd, the twins, maybe not. Was it just the girls?
No, I think the twins should have been.
They would be up there too.
Yeah,
and so
stairs.
It don't matter how old we were. We all got up and sang impromptu. We weren't on the program, guys. I wasn't on programs, but Maple Kids was in the house, grandkids in the house. They'd call us up there, and we would go up there and sing a song, and that happened a lot. And then another thing I remember is Daddy wanted us to be the Jackson 5, and Rubber Band Man. Floyd was Michael a little bit. And then we were all the background dancers. And he would get us ready for the fair every year. And we would perform at the fair. It would be Floyd and all the girls as the back. And he would have us practicing in the kitchen on 3610. And he would get mad if we got tired. The Rubber Band Man, remember Rubber Band?
Oh, yes, how well I remember.
And so I think that was great too. And because we always dance, and my mom believed back then. So this is some of the things she did when we were growing up, keeping us busy, keeping us in different things. I think we all had to play the piano, even though we weren't good at it. So we still had to go. Laine is shaking her head, which is RuShawnda. We all have nicknames. RuShawnda was very talented at playing the piano. She had just a natural gift. One thing that I really, really was impressed with, one year I saw Rico and RuShawnda swimming. I never seen black kids swim that well.
Diane Holmes.
Yeah, they could swim like fish. And I was like, oh my gosh, all those years we went to swim school, I never learned how to swim like that. And now I'm terrified of water because I almost drowned in the Bahamas, and my husband's trying to help me overcome that fear. You were with me on that boat. She was with me. No, we were in Cancun.
We was in Cancun.
We were in Cancun. Yeah, we was trying to snorkel, and I had the snorkel thing on my nose or something, and we went underwater, and I couldn't breathe, and the people had to come drag me out the water. Yeah, that was not pretty. And so ever since then, I have a really phobia of swimming. Besides the hair thing, it's just the phobia.
Right.
So my mom would have us all in different things at church as well. So for me, I tell people this, and she minimizes. I think she's the smartest woman I ever known.
Bless your heart.
She is very smart. I think both my parents are very smart. They would have to be able to maneuver through all the stuff that they did. My mom, I think, what was I in college when you got your GED?
I think I got it at 20-something, let's see.
I remember you were going through a program and you were
Right.
telling us. And so
Yeah.
she never gave up. And so that was something that was, and we get that from our parents. My mom calls us, what do you call it? The girls. The girls are Jamaicans because, and I hope I'm not stereotyping, but we work a lot of jobs.
More than one job.
So the girls do, because I don't know if we got that from our dad. So the boys are more like my mom because she believes one is enough. The girls, we have multiple streams coming in and do different things. And so my mom be trying to figure out where y'all get that energy from. I think we kind of picked that up from our dad a little bit because he had a lot going on and he tried a lot of different things. And the thing about it is I look back at my dad too, and he would not try. I know at one point he had a game room, he had a daycare, and then he was working a full-time job. I remember that. So I don't know how you can do all that with a bunch of kids, but my husband didn't realize I knew how to play pool a little bit, but after I beat him one round, he was taking it easy on me. And I said, I should have told you my daddy had a game room when I was growing up. And so after that, he didn't take it easy on me. He beat me really bad. So I can play pool a little bit. My mom and dad, I think, were very smart people with their limited, and maybe you may say, well, I don't think smart is equated to education. I think they were just smart people. My husband would probably want me to have a little bit more of the structure as far as cooking and stuff, like my mama. Because mama would have a schedule of what we would eat, and it was regimented every week. You know you're going to have 2 or 3 cooked meals. Then we had a hamburger night, had a pizza night, we had sandwiches. Robert, it's good if I get one night out of good cooking, right? He looked like one night is really pushing it too. So my mom, we would have, usually she was off on Monday. She would cook on Mondays. When we come home, she would cook. And so something would be on the stove cooking. But the thing about it is, if you don't eat what's being cooked, you find something to eat. So some of us did not eat. I love pinto beans. But she would have pinto beans, most time cabbage or greens, and yams and cornbread. If that's cooking, 2 of my siblings do not do pinto beans. She didn't go make another meal. They had to go figure out what they're going to eat that's in there, well, what's there. And so she's pretty regimented and structured about that. So you understood you eat what's there. We didn't waste any food. We didn't throw food away. We did a lot of leftovers. And so I admired that about you and how you still worked. My mom made minimum wage, and we still got our hair done by a professional. Mm-hmm. At one point, my grandmother was doing it, my dad's mom. But after she passed, my mom always made sure she would rotate. You have 6 girls that need their hair done, plus her hair for Easter. Come on now. That adds up. And my mom was making minimum wage. And I think about my dad, too. At one point, I saw one of his stubs. He's making $35,000 a year. Back then, that's a lot of money. I could not imagine that with 10 people on my check.
Wow.
And so you don't realize the sacrifice that your parents make until you get older. And so even now, I know it's a challenge for me to figure that out, even with what I do. But I respect and I admire you, my mom. You're my shero.
Bless your heart. Because
of all the sacrifices you made and the things that you did. You took what was little and you made a lot with it. You did, and we really, you may not, my mom would say this too, that she want her flowers while she's living. And so that's what we try to do with me and my siblings, and we try to make sure she have her flowers now. And so sometimes me and RuShawnda probably are on her the most about different stuff we want her to do, but we still love her. We still do. Her and RuShawnda have a very interesting relationship. Baby sister and mama, I just stay out of it because they always work their way through it. They can have a conflict, but everybody just stay out of it and let them work through whatever that conflict is.
We're a lot alike.
Yeah, a lot alike. Is that what it is?
Oh, no. She's a little bipolar. well, she admits it. But I am so proud of my baby daughter. She works long, hard hours, and she's been on this job over 5 years.
Why are you acting like I'm dysfunctional and
praise the Lord? Well,
family dynamics right in the flesh here. I'm telling you, this is my mom and sister.
And she's taken on a big step in raising children herself. So
that's going to segue to my next discussion. My baby sister, I admire her so much. And my niece, you never know the impact you're having in people's life. One of the things she said, and you'll hear on one of the podcasts, because when I featured her today, is she said that she admires you and your big heart.
Oh.
And so I told her that she'll get to hear, because you weren't there last night. Baby sister didn't make it last night, which is okay. We gave her a pass. But she'll hear what Raylan said, because I made Raylan state it on her podcast of what she admires about you. So I admire so much about my sister, not only because my sister, let me tell you, even though she acts like she doesn't have patience for people, she does, because when she took on my grandmother had Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm, yeah. And she was, how many years ago? It was 10? It was a while ago. She has a heart for people. So a lot of times people think ministry is just in the church or in the church sense. But that was a ministry that I admire her, because my grandmother was a pistol. And I remember one time she was trying to fight my mom, and Rico was here at the house, at our old house, and trying to pull her off of my mama because she was trying to fight my mom, and she was just busting my mom in the face, and my mom was just taking it because it's her mom, and she had Alzheimer's, but Rico had to pull her, but she was so strong too, and Rico had to pull her off of her, but RuShawnda took all of that on. My grandmother, it's not funny, but she got kicked out of senior daycare because she kept hitting one of the guys with the stick. Is that what happened, Mama? Tell me what happened. Oh, if you can't say it, don't say it, Mama. She don't want to tell us what happened. We don't want to say it. Okay.
Can you imagine? It was something that was going on that wasn't, that they couldn't handle. So
it was some stuff that she was doing that they couldn't handle at that facility. It
wasn't fighting anyone.
Oh, it wasn't fighting. It was some other stuff.
Yeah, other things.
Bring
other things. Yes. Okay. That she got expelled
more than once.
But
didn't she get more than once?
No, just at one time, and then we just started letting her go sometime on a Sunday.
Okay.
Or Saturday when the bus would bring her or whatever. But anyway, she was a sweetheart, and
you love her and you miss her.
I know she's up there frying fish in heaven.
So this is the grandmother I mentioned in my first podcast so family dynamics, everybody corrected me because I was saying it wrong, and I told them keep listening. I corrected myself because I was calling my grandmother's place White River and vice versa. So my grandmother had Seafood Wharf, and that's where we worked. And so that's what my mom's referring to, saying she's frying fish in heaven. Mm. So yeah, and so RuShawnda Laine, we call her AKA Nene. She took that on. And I know and she was doing daycare at that time?
I was, yes.
And you had a daycare center. So that was a lot, and she was doing that to help my mom. So she's really selfless. And so when it came up that the children need adopting, I don't know what was going through her mind, honestly. And no one tried to talk her out of it. I think for us, we all kind of know that's RuShawnda.
None of my family members tried to talk me out of it.
Other people did. Mm-hmm. But I think that we all kind of know that you have a heart for people, generally. And you do stuff. You always had someone's kids and stuff outside of daycare. Mm-hmm. And she likes dogs, too, which that's a whole nother story. We'll have to talk about that on another show because everybody know I have a phobia for dogs. You don't like dogs?
I don't love them.
Don't you have dogs?
No.
I thought you had dogs. Okay,
No.
okay. I thought you had dogs. I'm sorry. Mm-mm. So she took on siblings that were in the... And what's so interesting, me and my husband, we do not have kids at this point, and we're trying to decide what's our next step. So because my sister's gone through someone actually sent me a link and said... Veronica, you and Robert should think about there's so many kids in foster care siblings that people can't afford to take them on. So they actually sent us triplets at that point. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to do. But at that point, I started texting my sister because I didn't realize all the stuff you got to think about. So I started texting her, asking her questions. And it really, because I know she's gone through it, but I started telling other people, I started looking on the web pages, and there are a lot of minority kids in foster care, and I know they have traumas, definitely, but I think this is something that as a community, a lot of us don't do. And so when I'm going to tell my podcast listeners, you started off with 5?
Started off with 5 boys.
With 5 boys from the ages, what the ages were.
I can't remember. Let me think. Who were the 5? I had the twins. So I think they were about 8.
Up to 15, 16.
And yeah, Deshaun was like 14, 15. Yeah.
And she took on 5 boys.
Right.
And then there were 3 more. Wasn't it 3?
Yeah, there were.
That were in another home together.
Right.
And so something happened with that home. And so RuShawnda was in the middle of adopting the 5.
Yeah,
she was in the middle of adopting 5. And next thing we know, they added the 3, asked her if she wanted the 3 to keep all the, because just imagine asking someone to take on 8 kids. My sister is single, and she works. Well, she's single as far as I know. I don't want to tell your business. I don't tell your business or whatever. As far as I know, she's single. And so she agreed to the 5 kids, and they were great kids, young men. And she's a single mom, has no children. So this is showing you the level of selflessness, not selfishness. And so she took it on, and I'm telling you, I thought, wow, I wish I could be like her. Because, I was like, that's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot, but she took it on, and I do admire that. So I call her my shero. She's like, what? She's my shero because I'm sure she has those moments like even anyone would about taking on kids. But at the end of the day, she tries to provide them a stable home environment, and she tries to do what she needs to do for them to be productive citizens. And so then tell us about how you got the 3.
I just received a call and they asked me if I was willing to accept the other 3 children. And I hesitated. It took me some days. I called mom and talked it over with her.
We already know what mama said.
Of course. Take them out. Take them right now. So, yeah, so I don't know. I put myself in their shoes. I just couldn't imagine myself being separated from my siblings. Yeah. So I agreed to take them in.
And so the youngest at that time was?
The youngest, Malzaya, he was about 4, I think.
And now he is?
He is 12.
You're kidding. I didn't realize he was that old. Wow.
He might have been like 5, maybe
4 or 5, but he's 12 now.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And they're all tall, so tall.
Yes.
They are tall trees.
Yes, they are.
And so you have 7 boys and 1 girl. Is it 7 boys? Well, in the group
right now I have 5 boys, 1 girl.
5. So the older 2 ended up once they got a certain age, they ended up doing something else with their family.
Right.
So now you have 6.
I do. 6.
And so 5 boys, 1 set of twins.
Yes.
1 set of twins too, which is interesting because we have twins in our family. My mom had a set of twins. Rico mentioned he has twins, and Rico's sister has a set of twins as well. So that how many twins? That's 4. My husband's giving me, what you saying, honey, 4? 3, 4. Is that 4 sets of twins?
That's Rico's, mine, Mama's, Shantae. That's 4.
Yeah, 4. Okay, so you gave me the right number. So 4 sets of twins. So it fit perfectly in the family. And so with her, she works to provide for him, definitely. And so I tell her all the time, I admire her. And I get mad sometimes because when I think about sometimes her giving up a lot, and sometimes when kids don't respect it, I'll tell in a minute, hey, you don't have to do this, And so, but for me, she's pretty consistent in what she chooses to do. So I want to tell her and the listeners that she's my shero. I admire her. Between my mom and her, I admire her selflessness because she gives so much of people. So to me, people might say, well, it looks a certain way. No, it doesn't look a certain way. When you give and give of yourself and give of your heart. When she moved them into the house, it was the same house that you had grandma in. So it was a small house. And how many bedrooms was that?
3.
3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms.
And so they're tall as Rico now, aren't they? About
yeah, pretty much.
Over 6 feet.
They're about 6 feet over. Yep.
So I truly admire you, and I know Robert. They really love Uncle Robert.
They do.
He's like, okay, babe.
Especially Malachi.
Yeah. Is Malachi the one that spent the day with them?
Yes.
Yeah, they spent the day together. During the summer or something?
Yeah, during the summer.
And Robert put him to work. He was doing some work.
He was doing work at 3610.
3610. Okay, he put Malachi to work. And so they bonded, did some male bonding. And so I think that you're doing a great job, honestly. Even though sometimes you may feel overwhelmed. Any mother would, single mother would. So I just want you to know you're doing a great job. And that just keep pushing, stay focused, and count down like your mama did until she had an empty house.
I'm counting down.
She had an empty house. But one thing I shared earlier is that when I moved back home from Syracuse, it was just me, mama, and daddy. And remember, Ricky was there, but she's in and out. Remember, it was just me, mama, daddy, and you were there. Were you there a while?
Syracuse. So what year would that have been?
Oh, I ain't gonna get too much. But but it was me, mama, and daddy because we would watch Michael Jordan back then. You might have been there. You might have been
I'm probably in and out too.
You were in and out too. And so I was telling them at brunch earlier was during that time period after being raised in a house full of people. Oh, there's so many stories. I remember, well, you remember that time when my ex-boyfriend had broke up with me and I kept playing One Last Cry and we all sitting there with me, you, Rico, and Daddy.
And then Daddy tell you not to play it again.
He said, don't play One Last Cry no more time. If it's your last cry, let it be your last cry. And Rico and you were just looking and laughing at me. And I'm so dramatic. And Daddy was sitting there. And Daddy was like, hey, enough with that. Stop playing One Last by Brian McKnight. That was the song I kept playing over and over again. He said, if that's going to be your last cry, don't play this again. Let that be your last cry. And Rico and RuShawnda sitting there cracking up. We were eating Long John Silver sitting at the table in the kitchen. And they cracking up. It's not funny. And so I was pretty dramatic, though, back then. But I was telling him that once I moved to Dallas, it's where RuShawnda would get Daddy to do a little bit of anything. He would call me about stuff she got him to do. But
that was my dog.
Your dad. Yeah. Mama and Daddy drove me
dog
to.
Was it right?
Was that nice, mother? Family dynamics.
So maybe you did.
I did.
You did.
Family dynamics. That's family dynamics. So, Mama and Daddy drove me to Texas to move into Stinky's loft. And then we took Stinky to the airport, Cologne, Germany, so he could start playing football. So within one weekend, we sent one kid to Germany and then moved one child to Texas. So I sublet us Rodney's loft. And it was such a withdrawal stage for me, Mama, and Daddy because we had spent so much time together. And I remember talking to Mama every day for like a year and a half, at least once a day, at least 15, 20 minutes a day, because we had spent so much time together, 3.5 years, me living in Tulsa. And I didn't have a man or nothing back then, so I have a little bit of time. And so that was a great experience for me to be able to move back home and be able to bond with my parents as a young adult, I would say. Because when you're younger, I don't think you really enjoy the moment. You're just so busy about growing up. And so that was an experience that I shared earlier with Raylan about enjoying being 16, enjoying the moment and not rush it. So enjoy your babies. I know they're not babies, right, but enjoy your babies because at some point they will be out the house. And I know you say you're happy about it. I have
one turning 18 this year. So.
You have one turning 18? Does he have any ideas of, have you been talking about options?
Right now the plan is for him to enlist. So he's either going to the reserve or
Navy.
We're trying to figure it out. So.
That's good. Because then that gives him opportunity to grow up too. And with some structure.
That's all
that's helped too. It's really helping.
They'll help educate them also.
And then they'll pay for the schooling and stuff.
Right, it does.
So that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. And they'll be able to see the world.
Yeah.
From different perspective.
Yeah.
So that's great. So I'm so happy that my SHEROES came stop by to see me. Well, actually, I'm at my mama's house and sitting in her dining area. And so she so graciously allowed me. I told y'all, sometimes my mom would have more traffic coming through her house when I'm in town. But she indulges me because I'm her fave. Right, RuShawnda? No. I'm her fave. I'm just saying that. I don't know. We always say who somebody's our fave. But she indulges me. Sometimes RuShawnda and my other sister, Ricky, call, Mama doesn't like that. I'm like, hey, what am I supposed to do? And so I enjoy being around my family because I don't get to see my family. So I'm thankful that my mom indulges me and allows me to invite people over her house.
We'll hear about it later.
My daughter is picking up where I left off.
Mm-hmm.
We had 8 children and me and my husband. when anyone came to town, they would stay with the Watkins. I don't care how many it was. They know Mama Laine liked to cook, and I would make them comfortable. And so my daughter's just picking up the slack from where I have left off. So she's so talented in so many ways. So I just love and appreciate all that she is and all that she's going to be. And I'm so proud of her. And I just praise and thank God for all the love and caring ways that she has for everybody. So especially her mama. So
I do. I love my mommy. And so the thing is, and that's what I tell people, because I don't live in town with my mama. And I used to come home a lot when I first moved. I came home quite a bit. And so now with my job and the different things that's going on, I think I try to get home once every 4 to 5 weeks, if good. But during COVID, I went through a depression because I hadn't been home in almost 12 months to see my mother. So that's really important for me. So my mom is a very, very important person in my life because she sacrificed a lot. She gave a lot, even when she didn't have it to give. And even when she raised all her kids, she wanted to open up a daycare in a house.
Never thought I would.
And she had an in-home daycare where she mothered so many other kids over the past.
Fell in love with all of them.
And they call her Mama Laine. Her daycare was called Mama Laine's.
Blessed daycare.
Blessed Mama. So was it just Mama Laine?
Mama Laine's Blessed
Daycare.
Oh, okay. Oh, I just called you Mama Laine. Okay, so Mama Laine Blessed Daycare. And then RuShawnda Laine, following her mama's footsteps, opened up, what was yours? Angel?
No, Mama opened it. Remember,
So Mama opened that and you ran it.
Right.
So what was your daycare called? Did you do
Then I did switch it to Children's First.
Children First at some point? So both of them actually did daycare. At one point they were little partners, somewhat. I think Mama was the boss and you just ran it, right? No.
I think they
She
ran
let
her.
me handle it. As long as she's getting the money.
And taking care of the bills and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not all about the money.
You wasn't hands on.
She was
at this time.
She was the owner.
Right.
She was the owner. So RuShawnda was her center director and Mama was the owner at that point. So RuShawnda had to make sure she get the bills paid and all that stuff. So I told you my mom and baby sister have dynamics. We just all kind of sit back and watch. But
it just depends on what personality comes out that day.
that's what Mama say about you.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Now, I'm proud of my baby girl. For a whole year, she came over and cooked and cleaned at my house, and we had great holidays when she was trying to get herself prepared to build her house, and she did an awesome job. I'm just so proud of her. She took on some of my good qualities.
She can still cook like you too.
Oh,
she cooks better than.
Oh.
So explain to Robert why I didn't learn how to cook. Tell him how it was so many of us that we kind of were assigned special
I
duties.
didn't learn until I got
a little bit.
Well, Ricky got the dressing.
And I would do the baking, the cake.
Oh, she should have opened up a bakery.
Yeah, I tried to tell my husband that.
Right. She baked the biggest cakes, delicious cakes. She put a baker. He want to go after that. But anyway, my baby girl, she has it. The meatloaf, sweet potato pies, cabbage. She got it all though.
Yes, and the
chili.
peach cobbler.
Oh,
The peach cobbler. My mom does this peach cobbler from scratch. RuShawnda almost have replicated it to the T.
Right.
So it takes the lish. We all eat it, and so she have to do like 3 big pans of it, or it's gone within pretty quickly, and it's like piranhas when she brings it to the house. And so she has really morphed into Laine Jr. too. So the name is appropriate, I think.
Well, yeah.
Laine
a house full of kids.
She got a house full of kids. And she has to cook.
Right.
And she has to cook. So she can't do DoorDash like me all the time. Right?
That adds up. I know.
Yeah, it adds up. So we're trying to do better. We did better starting the year, cooking more. So I thank you both for taking time out of your busy schedule. And I thank my husband for sitting here and being my engineer. He knows I talk a lot. So a lot of times he's looking at me like,
Bless
hey,
his heart.
I know, bless his heart. So I'm thankful for him taking the time to help me out with my podcast. But he knew that I wanted to do it with my family. And he graciously sat through a lot of tapings. And so I want to thank my baby sister and my mom again.
Thank you.
For coming over and coming through, my different family members that came through today to tape with me and tell you I appreciate it. I love both of you. You are my SHEROES.
Thank you.
I love you too.
Thank you. And hopefully receive these flowers today from me, just saying that you are wonderful, you are blessed, and you're our Black queens of the family.
Well, thank you. You're definitely a queen. And thank Robert for being so patient and loving.
Thank God for a patient man. Thank God for a patient
I
man.
know, to take on all of us.
Take on that's what that's saying, the family dynamics, right? So I thank you, and so I will see you guys later. Life is good with Tuda. Bye.